This is Channel 40, Sacramento, Stockton.
Cinco de Mayo is a great low-budget, independent horror/comedy slasher grindhouse. No. I mean, it is all those things. But to be more succinct and to the point, it is just a great movie. It's topical.
Students across the Southland protest President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration.
I personally have family members who are immigrants and used to be and fought for my rights to be here. So we have every right to be here, and he shouldn't be sending anybody back.
We are already seeing Mexican flags taken from homes and set on fire. This is an attack on Mexican and Mexican-American culture. Now I ask, what can we do?
Like a protest?
Yes, thank you, Magdalena.
You gotta stand on the Waymo. Damn.
Well, you see, my job lost. My neighborhood's gang. See, Mexicans come in here, they roost me out of my construction job. Well, now I have all the time in the world to catch and deport them back to Mexico. That's what I call irony.
Filmed and released over 10 years ago in 2013 by A&P Productions, a husband and wife duo, writing, directing, and producing modern grindhouse cinema. The powerhouse couple known as Paul Ragsdale and Angelica D'Alba. This film is great as it is, but dare I say, would it be the ideal candidate for a reboot? I think so. Why would I say that? Allegedly, this film was made with a budget of $600. Get the f*** out of here. You may hear that and think, oh, the acting must be horrible. No, not really. The effects, they must be laughable and amateur at best. Amateur at best. Amateur, sure, but they are absolutely passing. Again, with a budget of $600 in 2013, adjusted for inflation in 2025, that is $834.43. That is under 15,000 Mexican pesos, just to drive the point home a little further. That is still not that large or impressive of a number. It truly is not that large of an amount. I would love to see what these guys could do with $60,000 or more. Magic.
Magic is real.
Yes, it is.
The story is what makes this movie stand out for me. In essence, this movie is the merging of 1993's Falling Down starring Michael Douglas and 1997's 187 starring Samuel L. Jackson, but more focused through a Mexican-American lens. Thus, the appropriate naming and title of the film, Cinco de Mayo. Bueno. Mas bueno. IMDb summarizes the plot as, after being unjustly fired, if the funds are not there, they're just not there. I do not know if unjustly is the proper and correct adjective. He was unexpectedly fired. I do not think an American Mexican heritage class existence in and of itself is inherently justified. Let's ask the students.
What does this mean to all of you?
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo, baby.
That's the spirit, Corey.
Yeah, man, I love Cinco de Mayo. All the drinking, all the car racing, all the fights, getting shanked, chicks sitting on hoods and shit. Man, it's freaking awesome. I love it.
Yes, there's that. But most importantly, it's about Mexican heritage and...
See? Personally, I am of German heritage, and every time I push for an American German heritage class, I get called the derogatory German N-word and accused of wanting to usher in the Fourth Reich. But I digress. The Midwest belongs to the fatherland. True Germania. Back to the IMDb movie summary. Harassed by his students and labeled a potential menace to society, El Maestro sets out to teach everyone one final lesson. It is categorized as a horror comedy, which I can agree with, but some of the comedic elements were lackluster. One in particular, the ball was dropped. How this opportunity was missed, I have no idea, but we will make sure it is remedied in our future hypothetical remake, right? What am I talking about? Well, first, some context. There are, I believe, 7 kill scenes.
You looking for trouble, boy? Well, you found it.
Hey, get up, get up! We gotta dump his body by the grasser tree.
Mr. Meldy! Meldy! Oh! Ah!
Hey, girlies. I'm not gonna hurt you. I like what I see. I'd like to see more.
What the f***? Shit. Come and get it now!
If we exclude El Maestro rampaging towards the police officer at the end of the movie, leading to a suicide by cop incident, fulfilling the officers as well as El Maestro's cinematic destinies. It's wild stuff, I know. Also, spoiler alert, 4 of the 7 kills were specifically Mexican themed or stereotyping in nature and execution. All 7 had racist or highly offensive and disrespectful origins or root causes, action leading to reaction. But specifically, 4, I feel, were overtly Mexican themed to almost possibly a stereotyping degree in presentation. 2 were kills involving impaling and stabbing using a Mexican flag as a weapon. I think visually, that goes without saying, very Mexican themed and oriented. Also, while we're on the topic of Mexican stereotypes, the scene where the school counselor tells El Maestro that he will inevitably succumb to his ancestral Aztecian bloodlust and tries to get him to mime stabbing people who make him angry with a psychologically approved and endorsed murder therapy knife really caught my attention. I do not think being of Aztec descent inherently gives a person bloodlust the urge to commit human sacrifice. I do think culture leaves an impression on those who grow up in and participate within it. But Montezuma's Revenge, I thought, was something completely different. Also, That's a really good alternative title option for our future remake, no? El Maestro stole the murder therapy knife. I am not saying it is because he is Mexican. I am just pointing out that he happens to be Mexican, and also he stole the murder therapy knife. just pointing it out. Just an observation. The two stereotyped kill scenes were where one character is brutally murdered using a weed whacker. Very funny. Very funny. Very landscaper-esque. The second stereotype kill scene is when a man is hung from a tree and beaten with a baseball bat as if he were a human pinata. This is the specific scene where I feel the ball was dropped. There is a man hanging from a tree, and he was a real prick. Nobody likes to be fired. Few, I hope, relish in the power trip that comes with firing someone. This guy was a real son of a bitch. Does he deserve to be hung from a tree and beaten like a pinata? Maybe. It is later revealed that he and the school counselor had concocted some kind of social experiment to turn a docile, well-meaning, and respectable man into a crazed killer, throwing away his civilized ways and reverting back to the more crude and brutal ways of his ancestors, inflicted with the Aztec bloodlust.
All right, Sheriff, you want to hear the whole horrible truth? Mr. Valdez was unknowingly volunteered for a radical psychological experiment. He was told he was suffering from Aztec bloodlust.
A great alternative name for this movie.
Millions of people in this country suffer from. But in order to discern the threat, we had to amplify it.
We?
Dean Lieberstein and I.
Also.
What exactly did you two do to him?
Well, Lieberstein fired him and accused him of being some sort of radical racist. And I convinced him that he had a killer Indian inside of him and a thirst for blood.
So, does the man hanging from the tree being beaten like a pinata deserve this? I get Frankenstein's monster vibes, like Jurassic Park. Man creates a monster, a destructive force greater than himself, and is eventually consumed, devoured, or subjugated by his own creation. It has a cosmic irony about it.
That's what I call irony.
I'm not saying the man hanging from the tree being beaten like he is a pinata necessarily deserves this fate, but I am saying I can see how he got here. The missed opportunity? The man is getting beaten mercilessly. Like it is El Maestro's quinceañera and the man hanging a party pinata. No. Quinceañeras are for 15-year-old girls and pinatas are most likely not incorporated. It is a funny reference, and we're keeping with the Mexican theme. I am not going to drop the ball like this movie. Don't worry. The camera pans out to show the hanging man's feet dangling, swaying, side to side, to and fro. Why does he not drop like a handful or two of candy after being struck by the bat? Come on! It is wasted potential, just a wasted opportunity. You could have shown that prick munching on candy while he is firing El Maestro. He could have even offered him some. He could have been like, oh, you can go now. You want a piece of candy? That is plenty of foreshadowing to lead to the comedic high point of the movie. The human pinata beating, complete with falling candy. The acting, I think, was the most surprising highlight of the film. There is a retro late 80s, early 90s type of vibe, which I think naturally brings with it a lax dialogue standard. Modern lingo and fads are the absolute worst. Hindsight reveals the markings and indicators of the times a thing or product is produced. Think Time capsule. Modern movies suck. Modern movies suck for the most part and will be held in a very similar esteem and standard as the campy, crappy B movies of the 50s and 60s. Will my children enjoy watching these crappy modern day movies? Yes. But not how they were intended to be enjoyed. More in a Mystery Science 3000 type of way. I will show you another example provided by this film to further drive home my point. The director was clearly influenced by Quentin Tarantino, and in his efforts to bring about a resurgency, a renaissance to the grindhouse cinema, and God love him for that. I love the 80s style narrator girl.
Because we have two movies that you just don't want to miss. And just like a typical college professor, he overreacts and starts decapitating people left and right. So not only is it scary, but it's educational too.
This is awesome. It adds character to the film, gives it a sense of importance and elevation. It breaks the movie up a little. Probably one of the comedic elements of the film now that I think about it. This says 80s. It is easily identifiable, familiar, and pleasant because the 80s were awesome. Peak science fiction and horror. The 80s did it so well. We have to harken back to that decade because aesthetically and narratively, it just works. There is this fake double feature preview in the film, Dance Until You Die, just like there were fake feature presentation commercials in Quentin Tarantino's Grindhouse. I love this. It is fun filler. It adds character and sets the mood for these types of movies, which ultimately are supposed to be fun. That is why we love them. This is also a great idea in movie concept testing ground. I think every one of those stupid fake movie previews that were featured in Grindhouse were eventually made into movies. Machete, Thanksgiving, Hobo with a Shotgun. There may be more. I can't recall off the top of my head. If you know of any that I forgot, please leave their title in the comment section. There is something prophetic about the fake Grindhouse preview. In Cinco de Mayo, there is Dance Until You Die.
So stay
10
tuned.
years later,
Yeah.
A&P Productions would release their fourth feature-length film, Murder Size, and the similarities
Christy
are
and her friends
immediately
loved to dance.
noticeable.
It was their passion.
5, 6, 7, 8, and stretch. And bounce.
Thankfully, the final product was altered. Like I was saying before, hindsight reveals the fads, the taste, the styles. It shows the times. A calling card for whatever was produced for when it was produced. In this case, this film, it was 2013. Can you guess what the hot trend of the time was? Zombies. There are no zombies in Murder Size. Thank God. It is also not about a dance troupe, but rather a video aerobics cast. Competition within the girls. The actor. It is not about a dance troupe, but a video aerobics cast. But the similarities, staggering. It is fun to see someone, or in this case, a couple with talent, flourish, perfect their crafts, create their art, build their networks. You have my support. Please check out A&P Productions if you like indie, horror, grindhouse type movies. Cinco de Mayo, I would absolutely recommend checking out. And if you enjoy the film, check out Streets of Vengeance or Slasherette Party, Murder Size, or their latest feature film, number 5, for anyone counting and keeping track, OnlyFangs, released just a couple months ago. Yes, I saw it. Yes, I liked it. Yes, I will be doing a review on it. I do not have a rating system established yet. I would say my lowest rating would be classified as a one-timer, meaning I probably will never watch it again. The only other rating would be a recommendation. And to recommend the movie with varying degrees of intensity. If you like slashers and low-budget horror movies, I think you will very much enjoy 2013 Cinco de Mayo. If you like independent movies, this movie, again, allegedly, was made with a budget of $600. That is incredible. It adds an entire new layer atop of the viewing experience. You go, this really isn't all that bad. Actually, it's pretty damn good. What are the big studios blowing all those enormous budgets on? Hollywood is actually a money laundering scheme, isn't it? Isn't it? Allegedly. Thank you for your viewership. Please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel for future videos like this. Your support is very much appreciated. What is the last good indie movie you saw? Please leave it in the comments section below. Check out Cinco de Mayo. If you have not heard about it or seen it yet, I really do not think you will regret it. This has been a Mushroom Clouds and Romance movie review. Until next time, my friends. Farewell.
That was the crappiest Cinco de Mayo ever.
Yeah.
Hello, students.
No, please save yourself.
For what?
For me. Because I love you. And I must kill you.
A crazy kid.